Let's do a show. Let's do a show right now. What are we doing?
Can't you see? Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
Let's go!
Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is a no, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
Alrighty then. Funkhouser, do you love that chicken from Popeyes?
I
Is
do.
that a thing for you?
I do love that chicken from Popeyes. Why are you asking? Why are you making me hungry right out of the bat?
You now love that chicken from Popeyes, eh? Popeyes is going to be owned by Canada soon. Yes. True story. Popeyes is going to own, Canada is going to be owning, Canada owns Popeyes, Canada owns Burger King. The staples of American food. All the sugar, all the starch, all the fat, all the things guaranteed to send you to an early grave. All that is truly American in cuisine will now be owned by the Canucks. And you want to know why? You want to know why, Funkhouser? Do you
Why?
know? Why do you suppose businesses move out of America?
I can tell you why, but you tell them.
Well, what would your guess be?
Probably politics. Taxes.
Taxes. Yeah, yes. Now, it was interesting. I don't know if you caught it. Maybe it happened over a year ago. I'm trying to remember exactly when this happened. But, well, Obama was president, because I remember all the right-wing people were like, that's not lack of patriotism, that's math. And you know what? They're absolutely right. What happened was Burger King became the owner of a Canadian donut chain, I think it was. And the reason they became the owners of a Canadian donut chain was not because after years in the burger business, the folks that ran Burger King thought, you know what? Donuts. I don't know. I think I had this idea that maybe the whole thing came about after they went to a fair. You go to a fair and eat one of those donut burgers, Funkhouser?
Mm-hmm.
I did that once out of... some might call it curiosity. Some might call it morbid curiosity. Some might call it morbidly obese curiosity. But I did this when I went to a fair, and I was just like, a triple cheeseburger with a Krispy Kreme donut instead of a bun. I'll give that a go. You tried that, Funkhouser? You know what? It wasn't good. It just tasted like a donut and hamburgers. And those two things separately are delicious. But I've decided after that experience that, at least I could say I ate a triple cheeseburger wrapped in a donut. And that's one for the books.
But you don't tell
overall,
anybody that, though. So
did I tell anyone?
So you can't even say that. Like, you did it so you could say it, but why would you tell people that? I guess you're telling everyone.
I think you go to a fair, or you go to a rodeo, or you go to something like that, and you're like, all right, what new deep fried creation did you eat? And I don't think I ate anything new that was deep fried. I tried deep fried Kool-Aid. I tried deep fried Mars bars. I tried, it doesn't hold together when you deep fry it, Funkhouser? And you think it'd be delicious, but no. Oreos. Oreos get all powdery. You would expect it to be this melty deliciousness, but it just dries out. So Oreos don't stand up when you deep fry them. Things with chocolatey, oozy things in the center, sort of like Mars bars and whatnot, those hang together when you deep fry them. Those are delicious. In fact, the deep fried Mars bar is something that I've been eating since I was a child, because the deep fried Mars bar did not originate, as you would imagine, around the county fair circuit in America. No. The deep fried Mars bar came from fish and chip shops in England, where they have batter, they have a deep fryer. And have you ever been around somebody that bought a deep fryer, Funkhouser?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a big ordeal, man.
They immediately start the game of, will it deep fry? That literally everything in the house, like, this is pretty good. It would probably be good deep fried. Oh, that didn't hold together. That is surprisingly delicious. Well, if you own a deep fryer and you have batter in front of you, that's what you're going to be doing. If you're a fish and chip shop owner, it's only a matter of time before somebody brings in a Mars bar and you go, will it deep fry? And as it turns out, it will, and it will be delicious. Frozen Mars bar, battered, stuck in the deep fryer. You eat it. It's oozy and delicious, and it's awesome. And they sprinkle powdered sugar over it, and you can feel your heart slowing down with every single bite, and you can feel yourself, literally, you can feel the moments being subtracted from the tail end of your life, but then you go, these are just the adult diaper years, so I'm going to shove as much as possible down my cavernous gaping gullet of this delicious food substance as I can.
Man, if we got like 1% of all the candy bars that you just sold, we can retire. Probably.
Yeah. And so the idea of Burger King buying a donut chain did not happen after a visit to a county fair where they went, cheeseburgers, donuts, put those hands together, baby, because the answer is delicious. No, the answer as to why they did that was delicious for a different reason, and we'll get into it next.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
So, the Canucks are about to own Popeyes. You love that chicken from Popeyes, right, Funkhouser? If you had to make a choice, Popeyes or KFC?
I hate these questions. I'm still sticking with KFC because they have those bowls. I like those bowls.
You ever hear Patton Oswalt describe that?
Yes, I have. I still love those bowls.
He was like, what do you got? Well, oh man, our mashed potato is really good, and then our chicken is delicious as well, and our coleslaw and our gravy, and what if we all just jam that together in one big bowl and you shove it down your gullet because you can't be bothered to eat the foodstuffs individually? What did he call it? Like, here's your failure pile and your sadness bowl. But you like those bowls, right? Mm-hmm. I get it.
They
get
mean
it.
Different words to me.
Anytime you introduce mashed potato onto a plate of food, oh my gosh.
Happy fun time bowl.
Now, mashed potato, in and of itself, if you do it right, is one of the most delicious things on earth. Mashed potato. But if you introduce it onto a plate of food, especially a plate of food that has perhaps juicy, meaty goodness on it, or maybe a little bit of gravy, or some sort of thing that mashed potato can soak and absorb. Like, you take a bite of something and then you slather a little mashed potato on it, and that's good. And then you have the remnants. You have the remnants of what's sitting on your plate, and you scoop it together with the leftover mashed potato, and the mashed potato sort of absorbs the various flavors of your delicious meal on it, a la Thanksgiving. And, with what's left of your appetite, you shove that down your pie hole, and you go, that's good. So I actually understand how the failure pile in the sadness bowl came to be. Are you hungry now?
Thanks a lot.
I'm so hungry. I didn't eat before I came in either, and now I'm freaking starving. But so you enjoy the failure pile and the sadness bowl at KFC?
Oh yeah, I do.
You take that over Popeyes.
Yummy.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, the Canucks are going to own Popeyes because a little while back, Burger King bought a Canadian donut chain. And the reason they bought a Canadian donut chain was not because they'd just been to the county fair and decided that the combination of a triple cheeseburger with a glazed donut instead of a bun was delicious. That is yet to show up on the menu. No. They bought a Canadian donut chain because it allowed Burger King to headquarter themselves in Canada. Canada-based Restaurant Brands International, which owns Burger King, announced that it reached a deal to acquire the chicken chain for $1.8 billion with a B dollars. Now, why would Burger King, why would the King, something so distinctly American, choose to buy a Canadian donut chain so they can go then headquarter? Excuse me. So, that was the last meal I just ate. Now that made me hungrier, which is a little disgusting, but trying to remember what it was. Yeah. That was last night's chicken. That's weird.
Oh, we took a turn.
Oh, my stomach took a turn. Usually that's disgusting when that happens, but let me tell you, the chicken parmesan that I ate right before falling asleep unwisely last night, good stuff. So, Canada. This becomes a place where Burger King decides to headquarter itself. Why would something so distinctly American head to the Great White Frozen North, the land of unnatural fondnesses for moose, where you must, and I think it's called CanCon. There's a certain amount of music that on the radio that must be Canadian. They've got this thing that's protective of all things Canadian products, and that extends to music, which means you're going to hear an awful lot of Rush, an awful lot of Sum 41, an awful lot of Nickelback, and an awful lot of Celine Dion when you are in Canada because of CanCon. X amount of music that's played on the radio must be Canadian. True story. Do you know who got popped for not adhering to CanCon laws? Do you ever hear about this, Funkhouser?
No,
Bryan Adams, Summer of '69. Bryan Adams, like he's Canadian. He made a record, and I think
could never
he used
cut a break.
He used more American versus Canadian musicians on his album than he was legally supposed to within the confines of CanCon. Wow. Try saying that. Confines of CanCon. But he used too many American musicians, so he didn't meet the CanCon stipulations, and he actually got popped for it. It was an interesting precedent that was set. But like I said, Burger King did not decide to headquarter themselves in the land of the Great White Frozen North, the land of unnatural fondnesses for moose, the land of inordinate amounts of Nickelback and Celine Dion on the radio because they enjoyed Celine Dion on the radio. No, had to do with taxes. Now, the marginal corporate tax rate here in the United States of America is 35%. 35%. And if you're a billion-dollar company, 35%, well, that's an awful lot. That's a whole lot of money. That involves careers there. That involves massive amounts of expansion. Conversely, you go to Canada, and I believe the corporate tax rate is, and please don't quote me on this one, people that are more economically savvy than I am. I'm not in this to be corrected. I'm in this to make a point. I think the corporate tax rate in Canada is around 17%. So you take a billion-dollar company like Burger King, you take a billion-dollar company like Popeyes, you headquarter them in Canada where the tax rate is like less than, it's around half of what it is in America. And all of a sudden you are raking in significantly more do-re-mi. You are. So, where does this leave us with Trump's new economic policies? We'll get into it next.
Have mercy. This is Billy F. Gibbons right here, and you're listening to AD on the radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land.
All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
Hold on a second. Before we get back to Burger King and Popeyes moving to Canada for Canadian tax rates, let's talk for a little bit. Let's just take a moment to listen to my favorite new piece of music.
I'm running because I think I'm getting so huge I need a shrink. I'm beginning to lose sleep. One sheep, two sheep, going cuckoo and kooky is cool key. But I'm actually weirder than you think. Because I'm...
In case you missed it yesterday, it's amazing.
Yes, it is.
By the way, it happened. We started playing that yesterday. Last year, a video went around of a parrot singing Rihanna's part in Eminem's The Monster, and now finally the internet got around to replacing Rihanna with a parrot in the original song. And like I said yesterday, peeling the curtain back on how radio works. Like, we do the show, and then it is packaged up and shuttled off to various radio stations that then play it.
Digitally.
And then digitally, and then it's podcasts on every sort of platform that you can be podcast on. It's podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher and Spreaker and on iHeartRadio and all the above. Any place you can listen to a podcast. I think we're there. We might be missing some, but I don't think so. And here's the thing. It's also made into YouTube videos. Now, YouTube I'll get a copyright notice pretty much every single day from the folks over at YouTube. Why? Well, because like if you use a piece of music in something that you do, YouTube notices that and goes, hey, somebody else created this. You're getting a copyright notice. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. It's just like if this generates any money, they're going to get an appropriate amount of that money. So like every single day when the podcast goes up and is made into a YouTube video, almost immediately afterwards, I get a copyright notice from the folks over at YouTube saying, you use this song, that means any advertising revenue, a portion of it will go to ZZ Top when we had Billy S. Gibbons on the show. A portion of it will go to Cheap Trick. A portion of it will go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. A portion of it will go to whoever the hell it was that you just had on the show and you played snippets of their music. And we're cool with that. Of course, they created that as part of our show. And if there's money being made off of it, then they deserve a part of that. Absolutely, 100%. But it happened yesterday. First time ever I got a copyright thing from a parrot. Let's continue after we listen to that one more time.
I'm flying because I think I'm getting so huge I need a shrink. I'm beginning to lose sleep. One sheep, two sheep, going cuckoo, and kooky is cool key. But I'm actually weirder than you think. Cause I'm...
It's amazing. Like the parrot's not just singing the song, but doing a very passable impersonation of Rihanna. And singing in tune. I knew parrots could like sing. I knew like minor birds and parrots and birds like that were capable of mimicking things. But I did not understand that parrots were capable of singing in tune. Like parrots have perfect pitch. It's very impressive. Like better than the vast majority of the contestants that make it past the first couple of rounds of American Idol, or did when that show was a thing. Anywho, in case you missed it, Canucks own Popeyes. Or going to own Popeyes. And that's because Burger King decided to headquarter themselves in Canada. They did this while Obama was still president. They went, we're going to buy this Canadian donut chain, not so much because we enjoy donuts, but because we enjoy Canadian tax rates. Corporate tax rate in America, right around 35%, I believe. And in Canada, you're looking at about 17%. With billion dollar companies, you're looking at just massive amounts of money. You're looking at massive amounts of money being saved. Massive amounts of jobs being created with that money. And, you know, I'm not saying that everything Burger King decides to do with the extra money they make by not paying half the tax amount that they would pay if they were in America is completely altruistic. But, you know, that much money being around in society tends to be good for everyone. From a fiscal perspective, you might have moralistic problems with the people in the fast food industry. But let's just for one moment look at the bottom line. Now, it's all well and good for Trump's economic policies. Before he even got to be president, he was tweeting up a storm. Car manufacturers need to headquarter themselves in the US of A, or they face a big border tax. And just like that, lickety split before he was even inaugurated, car manufacturers moved their operations from Mexico, changed plans for operations in Mexico, and brought jobs back to countries, to places like Michigan. There's like 1,000 line workers that are going to be employed in Michigan based on just one move that was a result of tweets that Donald Trump made before he even was inaugurated as president. 1,000 jobs, that's great. But the real paradigm shift, the real test of these economic policies, the real test of forget what you think of him personally, forget what you think of all the alarm bells that might be going off in your mind with Donald Trump as president. Well, the economics of it allowing for a situation here where it's not just a matter of 700 to 1,000 jobs in Canada. It's a matter of a tax rate. It's a matter of a tax rate that is nearly half of what it is in this country, making it advantageous for companies to headquarter themselves in Canada, to the tune of saving billions of dollars. People said when Burger King moved their operations to Canada, that's unpatriotic. No, it's not. It's math. And I don't know too much about Canada and the way it works. So I'm not one of those people who go, look at Canada, they have this, this, and this. I do know, however, that the average Canadian is worth more than the average American. And I don't mean to reduce us to a worship of money. The almighty dollar is not everything. But if you're looking at history, boom times, where people had a little cash in their pocket, well, that relieves a certain amount of stress across the board. That allows people to live lives. That allows people to feel as though the work they're putting in is equal to the fun they're getting out. And so, do I think Americans in general would be happier with an extra couple $100 in their pockets at the end of the week? Yeah, I do. Do I think Americans would be happier if they knew, hey, I am working my butt to the bone. Every single day I grind away to give the best that I can to the people that matter the most. And I know you do this. Yet I'm barely getting by. Trying to figure out why I'm working so hard. I'm on this hamster wheel where I never see the people that matter to me. I never get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I'm always living up to the very edge of my finances. There's more month at the end of the money instead of more money at the end of the month. And do I think the idea of a few $100 at the end of the month would change that for a lot of people? Yeah, probably would. And so the real test of Trump's economic reform that will make America great again, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying anything. It's great that there are new jobs to the tune of 700 to 1,000 of them in Michigan. That's great. But the true test of this comes with something significantly more unwieldy. When you look at Canada, you go, American businesses are doing everything they can to headquarter themselves there, not so much because of a love of Celine Dion's dulcet tones and melodious voice, no, but because of billions of dollars that they can save doing taxes. It's that simple. So we look forward to it. We look forward to seeing what kind of changes can be made in America. As we've talked about on the show before, I'm not a Trump fan. I wasn't a Clinton fan. I refuse to label myself. I like to be able to move in a more agile way through the choppy waters of life/politics than labeling yourself allows you to do. But I embrace the good if I must suffer the bad. If there are things about a politician or a leader that give me the screaming heebie-jeebies, I don't look, when I see something positive that comes out of what they do, I embrace it because I go, wow, I got to deal with that. At least we get this. Cool. So when I see good things happen as part of any administration, I'm stoked about it. And this will be the true test. This will be the true test of Donald Trump's presidency. The idea of making it easier for businesses to exist in America, it's one thing to say we're going to slap a border tax on people that make stuff in Mexico. And the idea of making things has been, the act of making things has been outsourced to different countries for so many years. Like the idea that we're going to start making things in America the way we used to. Hey, if that happens, great. But I'm telling you now, that is a pie in the sky thing that will not happen in 4 to 8 years' time. There is a reason why technology, phones, clothing, all of these things have been outsourced to China and Bangladesh and places like that for years and years and years. And bringing them all back en masse at once in a 4-year period is just wildly unrealistic. And people going, we're going to start making things in America again. Yeah, I bet we're not. I bet we're not in this 4-year period. I love the optimism. I love the drive to make things in America. I love the idea that we buy things that are already being made in America. But the idea of moving manufacturing back to America, that is a pie in the sky non-reality that will not happen, especially not in 4 to 8 years. However, making it easier to operate a business in America for everyone, from someone who has just started up a ma and pa store, just started a lawn business, decides to turn their lemonade stand into something a little bit more substantial, to billion-dollar companies like Popeyes and Burger King, making it easier for all of these businesses to operate in America. That's something that could, I think, and again, maybe I'm fiscally naive to be saying this, that's something that could happen here in America. That's something that the Donald Trump presidency has promised. And that's a promise that I hope he keeps. And that's a promise that I hope all the people that voted for him will be holding him to. All right, Funkhouser, what is going on in the news?
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser.
Yeah, new headphones over here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Things are weird.
Did you go and buy headphones?
No, I asked for them.
Oh, really? The studio
appeared.
bought you headphones?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay.
All you got to do is ask for things and they'll give them to you.
It's really interesting you should say that because, like, the idea of having a studio at the house, that is, like, I've got the gear. I've got the gear at the house to have a studio. But the thing that you got to pay for, where the expense is incurred, is, and this is really nerdy radio stuff, so I'm peeling back the curtain, but excuse me if it's a little techie and boring. But the program that we use to do radio, like, the gear is not that far-reaching.
I'm writing all this down.
When somebody told me, like, hey, because of the work that you do at SiriusXM, we're going to build you a studio at home, I was like, oh, my God, that sounds impressive. They're like, no, it's basically a laptop, screaming fast internet connection, and a microphone. That's what radio is. Like, these banks of blinking lights that Funkhouser's around. I mean, I know he enjoys pressing the candy-colored buttons, but I have it on good authority, not necessary anymore. But the real expense comes with that license key, which is like, I don't know, $3,000 a year or something. But I found out something amazing about other people in this building that I had not been taking advantage of, and Funkhouser has. We'll get to it next.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KBRC, more stimulating talk radio.
Now, more AD on the radio.
So this, again, this is sort of nerdy radio insider stuff, but this is why I got a freaking agent. For the very first time in my entire life, I have representation in radio. And you know what? I feel good about it. Like, I have been, not as a radio dude, but when I was in a band, I was managed by only the biggest and best. Had Bruce Springsteen's accountant. Signed and managed by all the same people that looked after Korn and Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and all these. I never was happy with any of these folks. We joked about Celine Dion earlier. I worked with the folks that worked with Celine Dion and Mariah Carey. The gold standard. Only the biggest and best had anything to do with my career. How did my musical career go, Funkhouser?
Well, we're still playing your songs.
Yeah. Well, no. Basically, I make a living off of playing everybody else's songs. Like that's how well it went for me in music, despite having only the biggest and best and most badass of management. So I was a little skeptical about the idea of getting representation when it comes to the radio business. But I'm glad I did. And you want to know why? Funkhouser, you just got new headphones. And how'd you get those new headphones?
Well, I walked over to the engineering department and I said, "Hey guys, you got any extra headphones in here?" He said,
You asked.
No, but we'll order one for you. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say you asked and they gave them to you, but that's not. You asked and they bought them for you. You know what kind of headphones I use around here?
What?
You know, I use the headphones that came free with my phone. That's what. Been doing talk radio and now I'm just used to the way they sound. So if I put on a real pair of headphones, I think I'd feel all discombobulated. But decent set of headphones is what? Anywhere between $90 and $150, right, Funkhouser? Yeah. So for that reason, because $150 can be used to buy food or pay rent, I have instead opted to use the headphones that came for free with my Samsung. So here I am like a sucker, and this is why I'm glad I got representation, because if I had asked for headphones, they would have been like, Best Buy's right around the corner. Why are you asking me this? And meanwhile, other talent, Funkhouser's just getting stuff bought for him, willy and or nilly. And this whole idea of having a home studio, you roll out of bed, you do radio immediately, the dog is at your feet, you're in your pajamas, you're drinking tea that you just made in the other room. Idyllic awesomeness. And it used to be that way for me at SiriusXM. I loved every second of it. But here, like the way we do things, I have the gear. Like I said, the gear is not an issue. And the gear sounds fancy when you say you have your own studio at the house, but it really just involves a screaming fast internet connection, a laptop, and a microphone, and you're good to go. That is radio in 2017. All those candy color buttons that Funkhouser gets to press, they're impressive looking, but for someone like me, especially a non-button presser, when you got someone on the other end of the thing pressing the buttons for you the way Funkhouser does, I don't need all that. So I would love to have my own studio. That sounds great, but you need a license to run the software. And I think the license is maybe $2,500, and then you pay $800 a month to have it maintained, or $800. It's a significant chunk of cash that again could be used to pay rent and or buy food with which to sustain oneself so that you don't keel over and die. Therefore, I haven't made that investment. But I found out, and I never go out, I never hang out with people, but there was a company-wide small plates and apps situation where everybody gathered together. I'm like, "Oh, how are you? How's everything going?" They're like, "Well, I just got the studio set up at my house." "Oh man, so how much is the license key for that?" "Well, it's $2,500, but yeah, they just did it for me. They just, they set it up for me." And I was like, "They what now?" And they're like, "Yeah, they just did it." And here's the thing: all you got to do is ask. So that's why I'm glad I finally have representation, an agent. I need somebody to ask for things like the license key for a home studio.
You just got to ask for stuff. Come on.
New headphones. Oh no, I ask for stuff all the time, and they look at me like I've got two heads, or I ask for the world or something like that. No. When I ask for the simplest things, like, "Hey, could I get we don't have any pens in the studio." There's no pens in the studio, and occasionally I like to write things down. I know we're in the age of digital, and we type and we make notes on our phone and all this sort of stuff. But could I get some more pens in the studio? They're like, "Well, why don't you just bring a pen from the house?" "Can I borrow your pen?" "No, that's my pen, and I need it." This is an actual conversation that I had a little while ago. So yeah, no, I'm glad that I've got people to ask for stuff for me. All right, Funkhouser, let's get to some news. Oh, wait a second. Hold on.
What?
Hold on just a moment.
What?
Kill the music. Do you hear that in the background?
What is that? Is that an earthquake or something?
I think the fire alarm's going off. Hold on. I'm going to open the studio door. Maybe you'll be able to hear it. I don't see any flashing lights.
Usually it happens on my side. Go ahead and get the door open there.
Hold on.
Uh-huh. Walking to the door. Opening it up. Oh, man. That's a 5-alarm fire right there, man. That's probably not good. Do you smell smoke? Do you smell smoke?
I'm trying to figure out if I need to evacuate the building or if somebody just left their popcorn in the microwave for a few minutes too long.
I'm surprised your Samsung headphones made it that far. All the way to the door?
Is it stopping?
I think
Might
you're all
I
right.
die?
Here's what's going to happen. Like, yeah, we're all supposed to leave, but there's going to be somebody in a vest that shows up and goes, "Get out of here," if
All
it's a
right.
real big problem. So let's just do the news. And if you burn,
If I die,
you burn. It's
if
fine.
I die bringing you the news because I'm that dedicated of a broadcaster. But you heard the alarm, right?
I
That
did.
made it to the microphone?
That's a scary
Yeah.
alarm too. That's a
Yeah, that's not messing around.
like a
You know what though? It like the studio that we do this show out of is usually occupied by board ops, and what it shows is that we don't care about board ops around here because I only faintly heard it through the soundproof door. There is no like light or notification that there's a fire happening here in this studio. I would have been blissfully unaware had you not killed the music for a second, and out of the corner of my ear I heard like the hint of what could possibly be a fire alarm.
scary. Uh-oh. It's happening over here now. What's this? Maybe we should go.
Wait. Actually, kill that. I think the alarm here stopped. Yeah, it stopped. Okay. Death from above averted. What's going on in the news?
Well, at a recent performance, Aaron Carter was attacked on stage by a member of his opening act.
I think cops went easy on the man. Since being Aaron Carter's opening act, that's sort of punishment enough.
What's up, man? I'm Aaron Carter.
Real radio. Real radio. 104.1.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhouser, what is going on in the news?
Angelina Jolie and her kids ate bugs on their trip to Cambodia.
She could have saved a lot of time and money by just taking them to any Los Angeles area Denny's. But no. You ever eaten bugs?
No, not that I know of. I've eaten at all the Denny's though.
There's like bug chips and stuff now. Like, look, cricket. I think crickets are an incredible source of protein. Like, and since they discovered that soy is not the greatest thing for you to be eating in mass quantities, people looking for alternative protein sources. I know it doesn't work for vegetarians and vegans to eat like animal product via bugs and stuff, but I think that they're discovering that cricket, bugs like that, contain proteins that are infinitely more sustainable and, you know, more plentiful and don't have the side effects of soy, where like if you eat too much tofu as a dude, you grow significant moobs. Like for a while, vegans were saying, like, what's the statistic that vegans pushed with regard to soy protein? I think, you know, the amount that it takes to produce a pound of protein through cattle, like the number of acres of the earth that it takes to produce a pound of protein through cattle, with that same number of acreage, you can produce like 14 times the amount of soy protein. So for a while, people were like pointing at soy protein as being the thing that was going to save Mother Earth. And then people realized that soy contains like something in it that'll make guys' estrogen levels spike, and you'll grow big moobs if you eat too much tofu. Because we don't all want to be walking around in man's ears and bros, people were looking for different sources of protein that were kinder to the earth, and like bug protein is supposed to be it. Like the superfood of the future is supposed to be crickets and cockroach milk. Did you hear about this?
No, man, please no, please stop.
The new superfood of the future, the new big protein provider of the future, is supposed to be cockroach milk. Who knew cockroaches had nipples? I guess the big challenge now is trying to find somebody with fingers small enough to milk them. But apparently, like Angelina Jolie and her kids eating bugs on their trip to Cambodia is just basically understanding how the rest of the world gets protein when they need it. So there you go. It was an educational moment. What do they call it when you have a kid? A teachable moment. That's what Angelina Jolie and her kids went through when they scarfed down cockroaches in Cambodia. Go on.
A Pink Floyd reunion is reportedly in the works.
Yeah. So quick. Run out to the conversion van idling by the 7-Eleven and tell your burnt-out uncle that his wildest dreams have come true. What else?
Tom Brady's stolen Super Bowl jersey has been valued at $500,000.
Yeah. Somebody ripped off Tom Brady's Super Bowl jersey. He was all mad about it because he was like, this is kind of a historic win. You jerks, give it back. And it has a street value of $500,000. Here's the thing. How do you... I guess there's a market for stolen goods, but like, how do you sell that? Very, very carefully. If you've got that and it's worth $500,000, how do you unload it without getting popped? Do you think
maybe it traded?
Do you think
for
it was a
something else?
calculated thing? Do you think it was a calculated thing, or was somebody just like that had access to the locker room that was like, I'm going to steal Tom Brady's jersey. I'm drunk. And now they're like, I have this stolen thing that's worth $500,000. Like, you steal $500,000, that's a lot of jail time. Like, that's really, really kind of sort of something else. So I think they're now sitting on it going, oh God, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tom Brady's stolen Super Bowl jersey has been valued at $500,000. While a longing glance into those dreamy blue eyes remains priceless. Go on.
The parent company of Burger King bought fried chicken chain Popeyes for $1.8 billion.
Yeah, we spent a good portion of the first half of the show talking about this. Why? Because Canada and significant tax breaks in Canada. In America, the tax rate is like right around 35%. In Canada, I believe it's right around 17% for corporations. And, well, the dollars add up. The dollars make sense. And interestingly enough, 1.8 yeah.
The
Chicken
dollars.
Even though Americans are clucking their disapproval. It's a thing that's happening. It's the first 10-figure transaction involving Popeyes since Chris Christie's last takeout order. Go on.
A 47-year-old Florida woman was busted for offering sex in exchange for 2 soft tacos from Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm. Sex in exchange for tacos from Taco Bell. There are any number of taco-related jokes that we could make that would lose us our broadcasting jobs right now. So I'm not going to make them, but I'll let you fill in the blank. Feel free to insert any
Don't fill in the blank. Don't listen to him.
Feel free to make your own wildly inappropriate taco joke at your leisure. Go on. What else? Moving right along.
President Trump says he's going to use a task force to tackle violent crime. Look, anytime you say task force and you're part of the government and you say they're taking on violent crime, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't things. We will have law and order. There's times when we need law and order. Look, riots in places like Ferguson serve absolutely no one. And if we get into a riotous situation, it would be nice if they didn't play out for days at a time. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Obama, doesn't matter if you are Trump. When you start using special task forces to deal with violent crimes, when you do things that make it look like the police are being militarized, that gives people the screaming heebie-jeebies, and understandably so. That screams of tyrannical action. But at the same time, wouldn't it be nice if, riots broke out in a place like Ferguson and they were shut down within a matter of hours as opposed to a matter of weeks? I think that would be a good thing. But yeah, task force. I wonder if anybody told him the Avengers aren't real. Go on. Aw. You just spoiled it for everyone.
No, you know what? That's the sort of thing that I'll be very, very interested to see play out, because it's one of those situations where you look at it and the reaction to the idea of a military-looking task force to deal with law enforcement, you go, hold on, this screams of tyranny and of martial law. And you would be right. On the other side of the equation, there's people going, they're rioting outside, they're destroying our community, they're destroying my home, they're destroying my business, and I would like this shut down now, immediately, instantly, if not sooner. How come law enforcement isn't able to do that? And they are right as well. So it's one of those dicey situations that there is no good answer to. But we'll see
how it goes. I'm very curious to know how this plays out. Go on. What else?
Donald Trump turned down ESPN's offer to fill out a March Madness bracket.
Really?
Turned down.
I guess basketball's not his thing. You ready for the Karate Kid, Funkhouser?
I guess so. Hold on.
I don't know if we should make such a big deal of the punchline I'm about to insert into this situation.
Well, I just put all that fanfare in front of it.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Read the headline again. Yeah. Read the headline again, Funkhouser. Prepare the drum roll and the Karate Kid.
Donald Trump turned down ESPN's offer to fill out a March Madness bracket.
Oh, he did he? Donald Trump not filling out a March Madness bracket? That makes sense. Basketball's not his thing. He's more into water sports.
You're the best.
I think you Karate Kidded wrong.
I did. That's
what happened?
That's okay. We'll edit it later.
Okay. All right. Go. What else?
Adolf Hitler's telephone sold for $243,000.
Making it one of the most expensive phones of all time until the iPhone 8 comes out. What else?
The Russian ambassador to United Nations died suddenly on the day before his 65th birthday.
Again, in more Russian.
A Russian ambassador to United Nations, he suddenly went away on day before birthday of 65.
Yeah, I would have. Die suddenly right before retirement. Putin will go to extreme measures to not pay someone's retirement. I think if you look at the autopsy, the cause of his death, wearing out usefulness to Vladimir Putin. Go on.
There have been 50 lawsuits filed against Donald Trump since he became president. 5-0.
And you know what? I think that we should point out that all of these lawsuits were made in America. MAGA hashtag. Go on.
A new study says L.A. has the worst traffic in the world. Disagree.
No, it does. Like, not just in America, in the world. In the world. It's crazy.
I'm in my car right now.
Yeah. You're still trying to come in for work yesterday.
I'm still on my way. I'll be right there.
And it's funny because, like, I hear people, like, out of all the places what we're on the radio, I hear people complain about traffic in Florida. I hear people complain about traffic in Houston and New York and D.C. Los Angelians, is that what we call folks like you, Funkhouser? Los Angelans? What's the technical term?
Los Angelinos.
Yeah. Los Angelinos like you, I actually don't hear you complain about traffic all that much. It's just like a part of life you deal.
Yeah. It's life. It is.
Yeah.
Most.
Also, I think part of the reason you don't hear many people from Los Angeles complaining about the traffic is because, well, when you're at a dead stop in traffic, you can take much better Instagram selfies. Go on.
Oh, not cool.
Did I just paint with broad strokes?
Don't look at my Instagram.
Yeah, don't look at my Instagram of all the pictures of me stuck in traffic. You know, that's... do you do the Snapchat thing, Funkhouser? You just started, right?
I just started it, and my fingers don't work quite right for that app yet, but I'm still figuring it out.
Still figuring it out.
At Radio Funk.
Like,
that's where you're
I mean, like, I get it. It's cool. It's become part of how people go through life. Like, your Snapchat story or what. Like, but this is, like, I'm on Snapchat because I have to be. It's part of my job. However, like... Snapchat seems to be used to document only the most boring parts of people's lives. These are the Snapchats I get from people. Here I am watching TV in bed. Like, I'll get like, when did it stop being enough to just watch TV in bed? When did you have to let people on Snapchat know that you're watching reruns of Seinfeld? Like, here I am watching reruns of Seinfeld in bed on a Sunday. Great. This is not like a shareable moment. Like, this is, but that's what I get on Snapchat. Snaps of, and admittedly, if you're watching Seinfeld, I get why you sent it to me. I'm obviously a huge Seinfeld fan, and we share that. But like, the vast majority of snaps that I get are people stuck in traffic, and most of them come from Houston, where it is not illegal to touch your phone while you drive. It's frowned upon. They recommend that you don't do it, but Texas, freedom. I'm going to touch my phone that I paid for and my car that I bought as well because it's Texas and I have freedom. So I get so many Snapchats from people that are in traffic. Like, this is the, like, stuck in traffic, this sucks. Really? Thought you just spread the boredom around? Thought you just share that with me? Like, it's the weirdest thing. People, I guess I can understand people get bored in traffic, so they want to do something, and hence the Instagram selfies and the Snapchats documenting their inability to get home in a timely manner. But yeah, like I said, not a shareable moment. Hey, I like to share these moments with you. Thank you so much for hanging. Thank you for being a part of our radio family. Tweet Funkhouser at FunkFM. Tweet me at ADSXE. Hopefully not pictures of you in traffic. Do not text and drive. Thank you.
Times you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it. And sometimes you feel good about yourself for being the better person and doing that, well...